everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Mrs. Maths here, back with another exam paper solution. Today we are doing the 2019 Leaving Cert Ordinary Level Paper 1, question 5. Hopefully you'll find it very helpful, and if you do, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channels, and of course don't forget to go over to Facebook and Instagram. I have lots of content over there as well, so check that one out. So let's get started. This is our question 5 here, part A, and we are looking at the trapezoidal rule here. So in the question it actually says use the trapezoidal rule to estimate the area. So the information is already there. The trapezoidal rule is in your log tables on page 12. So you don't need to know it off by heart, you just need to know where it is. And as always with any sort of log table formulas, I always say use your log tables, not your book. You will not have the book on the day of the exam. You need to be familiar with your log tables, so make sure that you have your log tables to hand, you open them up and you find the formulas there, not in your textbook. I always write down the formula, no matter what it is, no matter how simple and obvious you think it might be, always write down that formula. The examiner needs to see that you are using the correct formula. There are a few common issues with using this trapezoidal rule formula. Students don't understand how to fill it in and what all these Y's mean. If we look at H stands for the actual width of spaces between your lines, so the length of this space here. So in this case we see that it's 3. However, Y1, Yn. So Y1 stands for the first measurement, which would be this one here, which would be 0. Yn stands for the last height, which would be this one here, which is also happens to be 0. It won't always be 0, just happens to be this question. Y2, Y3, the second height, the third height, and so on, as far up as Y to N minus 1, which is the second last height, which would be this one here. So really and truly what you need to have is all of these heights, all of these, counted. So the first one, the last one, and then in this bracket here you should be adding up all the ones in between. I am a big advocate on writing everything down on your diagram, which means that you can see all the information in one place. You don't have to reread and reread this paragraph up here. It's all there. So what I've done is I have measured how many boxes everything is. So 0, 5, 6, 5 and so on. It does tell us in the writing or in the paragraph at the top that each box grid is 1 centimetre by 1/2 centimetre. So each box is 1 centimetre long and 1/2 centimetre high, and each centimetre represents 3 metres. Now what they're just saying here is that 1 centimetre on the diagram is the same as 3 metres in real life, because this is a garden that's covered by lawn. Before I go to answer the question and fill in the actual formula for the trapezoidal rule, I do need to make sure that I have the correct information. So again, I double check that although this is a measurement of 1, we know that it's equal to 3 metres, so I have that written down. I also have to write down the actual height of these lines. 1 centimetre on my graph means 3 metres, so I need to multiply each of these measurements by 3 in order to get the correct actual height in metres. This is a little sneaky little part of the question that it boils down to you need to read the question more than once to make sure you have everything ready to go. Looking at the solution, I have my formula here and I have filled in absolutely every single number. Again, as a state examiner, I need to see you filling in the formula correctly. You get quite a lot of merit for getting to that stage only. It's a very clever way of gathering up quite a few marks. Make sure that is done. Do a little bit of number crunching. So again, I worked out everything that was in the bracket. Be careful here, you're multiplying by 2 and I got my answer. Again, another tip here is always include the unit of measurement. Some questions are worded in such a way that you are required to give the unit of measurement to get full mark. And in some other questions, they are worded in a certain way that you don't have to provide the unit of measurement in your answer to get full mark. It's a very subtle difference. Most students will not notice the difference and don't know the difference. It's more of a state examiner thing to know. My advice is always put in the unit of measurement so you're covered no matter what. Part A was worth 15 marks. In part B, which is worth 10 marks, they tell us that Nuala can walk at a speed of 1.6 meters per second. Write the speed in kilometers per hour. This is a really good point to make, that in any questions across a lot of different subjects and topics, they do like to mix up the measurements a little bit. You might be given the information in grams, but they might want the answer in kilograms. In this, they give us the question in meters and seconds, but they want the answer in kilometers and hours. So it is important to have a fair idea of different types of conversions. So we'll look at that in a minute, but let's just do this question first. So what I've done is I've literally written down 1.6 meters equals 1 second. Then I said, right, how can I change 1 second to 1 hour? Because that's the thing that's kind of staying constant, 1 second, 1 hour. So I'm focusing on this conversion here. So over here to the right, I looked at when I'm going for seconds to hours, I'm going to multiply by 3,600. And I get this from, to go from seconds to minutes, you multiply by 60, because there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. To go from a minute to an hour, you multiply by 60 again, because there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So 60 by 60 equals 3,600. So I need to multiply 1 second by 3,600. I get 3,600 seconds. Well, I now know that that is the exact same as saying 1 hour. I obviously have to treat the left-hand side of my little expression the exact same way. So if I multiply the right by 3,600, I must multiply the left by 3,600. I get 5,760 meters. It means that Nuala is travelling 5,760 meters in 1 hour. But how many kilometers is that? Because we want to know how many kilometers in an hour. There are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So if we have 5,760 meters, we divide that by 1,000 and we end up at 5.76 kilometers. So our answer is that Nuala can travel at 5.76 kilometers per hour. So that is the end of that question. Again, don't be afraid to do out your little bit of rough work at the side. It's a very good way of focusing your mind, writing down those little bits of facts that you might need or you feel that you might need in this question. We're going to look at some general conversions that are just pieces of information that it is assumed that you know. So it's a part of your course. You probably have come across this information at some point, but maybe it's not 100% clear in your head. We'll go through a few common ones that you are likely to come across in some examples. 1 litre is the same as 1,000 millilitres. Again, that is definitely one that you should know. 1 metre is 100 centimetres, so you might remember those metre sticks in primary school. 1 kilometre is the same as 1,000 metres, and 1 kg is the same as 1,000 grams or kilograms. The last conversion that I want to show you here is that 1 cubic metre is the same as 1,000 litres. So 1 cubic metre of water is 1,000 litres. So if you have a box and it is 1 metre wide, 1 metre tall, and 1 metre deep, it should contain, or it will contain, 1,000 litres of water. The reason I'm showing you this one is that it is kind of relevant in kind of engineering, construction type questions or type topics, which you might do in other subjects or you might be doing in the future. Water, it can be measured in cubic metres. Concrete is also measured in this way. This is real life information that is used in everyday life, and it is quite important to know. So that is question 5 on the Leaving Cert Ordinary Level 2019 Paper 1. Thank you for watching, and of course, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.